Hello, and good afternoon, and welcome to episode 17. Oh my gosh, episode 17 of the Career Hive. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend and looking forward to what's going to be a fantastic week. So, what are we talking about this week on Future Match and this particular podcast? We're going to be focusing a lot more on Future Match in terms of an update, in terms of where we've been and what we've been up to, the story behind Future Match, because we're getting a lot of questions being asked around, tell us about the story, right? Your why, where we started, where we are now, kind of what we have coming up in the future, and most importantly, what Future Match can mean to your organization going forward. So, what's been happening over the last few months? We had some really exciting stuff. So we've kind of rebranded to this new exciting brand called Future Match, and we felt that the reason for that was that it gave us an opportunity to really kind of land in the right spaces with the target audience we're looking at from organizations perspective. Also just kind of says what we do on the team. Our job is to enable organizations to match future talent into their organization to fulfill the roles that they have from early careers phase. So, that was really important for us to find something that kind of brought that in together. We've been in the middle of a pre-seed funding round, which we've successfully closed, which is great. So that gives us, so that's one of the things we're looking at. We've been in the middle of product development. So we've kind of got our first MVP ready for how we kind of enable organizations to analyze their data and look at that in more detail. And we're starting to develop the second phase. We're kind of looking at early stage concepts for our Career Hive platform, which is a career management platform aimed at school, kind of the education part of the early careers journey. We've been part of Libra program. We've been part of our Technicians Libra program. We're part of Barclays Black Founder Accelerator. So there's been a lot happening in terms of where we've been for the last few months. We've really launched our kind of go-to-market strategy from a soft side perspective. So focusing on what we do in LinkedIn and how we kind of grow what we're doing from our Instagram feed, etc. And we're looking now to kind of expand a lot more of that forward. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I think, the core thing about what we've looked at over the last month, when you think about the fact that we've just rebranded, the fact that we're kind of pushing on our product development piece, there's a lot of information there around, why we're doing what we're doing and what the story is. So in essence, for us, Future Match is something that is born from a kind of a passion that I have around how early careers talent can access opportunities, and how do we create a solution that enables that group to have access to these opportunities that they don't believe they're going to be able to access. How do we make sure that they're assessed and selected for those roles in a way that's kind of fair and impartial? And most importantly, how do we help to inform that early careers talent about the exciting opportunities that exist, not just in a particular organization, but across a wider sector as well. And I think for me, having come from a talent acquisition recruitment background and that being my passion, it's understanding from conversations I had with organizations for best part of 20 years, right? The challenges they have around how do we bring early careers talent. So, is my organization fit in purpose to bring kind of 16 to 18-year-olds into our organization, and what does that need to look like? If we're looking at a slightly kind of 18 to 21 group, how does that fit for us? And most importantly, you've got this really exciting kind of space where we're finding a lot of interest from is organizations where you've got individuals or early careers talent that's probably got, kind of 2 to 3 years experience, and they're looking to sort of what I call make that next step into their first proper career role, because what they've done for the last 2 years is a graduate program or apprenticeship program or some kind of management program, and they've kind of got an idea of what that role or that career entails them, but actually what they're looking for is something more structured, something that's more defined in a space they want to get involved with their sales, with its marketing, with its product, but they kind of have a really good idea. And organizations are really keen on tapping into this talent. And this talent also is open for individuals who may have decided that this is not what they want to do and they were looking for a change of sector, but they have some transferable skills and knowledge that could be useful for other organizations. So for me, the story behind Future Match was how do we give that talent, the early career talent pool, those three things I mentioned, but also for organizations, right? The biggest challenge is we want to bring early careers talent on board, but we're not sure we're getting the quality that we want. We want a much more diverse access to a much more diverse talent pool. So we want to, and we're not talking about, the kind of the headline kind of diversity kind of metrics. We're talking about diversity of mind, diversity of thought process. How do we, kind of attracting that talent pool? And most importantly, as an organization, our early careers talent, it's really, really important that we can develop that talent, retain that talent. And even if that talent isn't necessarily remaining in our organization, most importantly, it remains part of our business. So for me, the story behind FutureMatch is, as I said, being a recruiter myself, being involved in recruitment for a number of years, seeing the challenges from my first startup with kind of young people understanding what opportunities are available, how to access them, and what they mean to them. And then the biggest challenge with organizations saying, look, we need to bring this early careers and talent on board, and we want to do so in a fairer way, but we also want to access a much more diverse talent pool, and we want to retain and we want to develop that talent pool, and we want the talent pool that's enthused to be part of our organization. We kind of came up with FutureMatch, right? And the whole point of how do we join these two crucial dots and enable them to kind of meet in the space that we need them to be. So we enable organizations to access that talent, be able to bring that talent on board, match it to the right roles within their organization, and for that talent to understand what their careers mean, not just in the organization in front of them, but as it means as a general career development over the next 15 to 20 years. So it's kind of bringing those two things together, because I was one of those frustrated 16-year-olds, frustrated 18-year-olds, and it wasn't until my kind of early 20s or 21, if I'm correct, where I fell into recruitment, and I fell in love with probably what I always say to anyone is the best industry in the world. However, if you look at my background, I trained as a chef, qualified as a chef, but that wasn't where I wanted to be, right? And I had the opportunity to work in, on fantastic kind of projects to do my hotel and business management qualification, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, right? And when someone mentioned recruitment to me, I remember thinking to myself, I want to be in this, right? And people were saying, I don't think you enjoy it, right? When I got into it, and as everyone knows, when I say this aloud, I was part of Hayes, right? And I had the world's best training. I worked in the best company. The opportunities they gave me, the chances I had to really kind of explore this wonderful career has never let me down. And everything I do, even now as an entrepreneur and a founder, recruitment and hiring is just something that I love. So FutureMatch for me was able to kind of bring all those things together, bring together my experience in hiring, my passion and my love for how do I match the right people in the right roles, right? And I enjoyed it at senior level when I did it with executive, when I was in executive search, etc. I enjoyed it when we're doing outsourced models. But this group is just enthusiastic, right? It's just a wonderful part of the food chain to be part of. And for organizations, they want to tap into this talent. When you've got that enthusiasm of kind of early career talent, what they can do for your business, and you can retain that and nurture that, then onto the cards of success is definitely something that happens. So the story behind FutureMatch is how do me bringing together everything I love under one big banner. So until where we started, we were one of those organizations, startups that started just before the pandemic hit. So, whilst that was a really traumatic time, I think, across the world and in business specifically, for us, it was actually a really good opportunity for us to kind of sit back and kind of go, okay, what is it that we're developing as a concept? Where is it that we want to go and how do we want to take this? So we had the time to do the things that you don't always necessarily get the time to do as a startup, because you're kind of focusing on how do we gain traction? How do we build what we're trying to take to market? We had the chance to do a lot of research to understand what the gaps in the market are, and to be able to take a gamble around the fact that, yes, at the time when you listen to every single metric and every single piece of news, they talked about, well, we're not bringing in early careers talent, we're not hiring this talent on board. But actually, in reality, if you look at that data coming back now, early career hiring is up 15 to 20% based on where it was before the pandemic. So we knew that there's always been a shortage of careers talent, right? We knew that there's been a shortage of, we have an aging population, we have a really big squeeze on that kind of piece around young people, and you're young, but that kind of first phase of your career space. And we knew that we had a chance to kind of really, really make a difference. So we spent a lot of time kind of getting that piece of what we wanted to do right, understanding what we're trying to develop, really understand how we're going to take this to market. What does it look like? Is a challenge real? And then you look at that, and then we built our first phase MVP. Then we realized that, to make we started to get some kind of interest, but we needed to really kind of scale what we're doing. So we launched a very small pre-seed round focused on maximizing SCIS as an opportunity, and we successfully raised 100,000 on that round, and we're closing that round down, and that enabled us to really kind of push into the space that we are right now, where we have our first MVP customer coming on board. We successfully raised that round. The team is growing, and we're looking to bring more people on board. We've kind of done our MVP platform, and we've launched that, and we're now looking to develop the second phase, and we've got a second an option to start to develop the Career Hive platform. So we've all of a sudden we've kind of got this vision of the things that we looked at, and we had the time to research coming together now, and we're doing a kind of a go-to-market strategy. So for us, we're into that kind of really exciting stage where we're actually pushing more product market fit than we are looking for whether our product has a market. We're now making sure that we can get that fit. So we're excited for some of those opportunities coming on board. So over the next few weeks and months, you see a lot of things. So first and foremost, we're hopefully, fingers crossed, announcing our first major customer coming on board. And what they're planning to do and where they're planning to take their business is really, really exciting. And we're really excited to be part of that journey, not only in terms of where we are as a business, but we're really aligned in terms of what they want to do, how they operate as a business. And they actually are what I would call a blueprint to the kind of organizations that we set up, or I set FutureMatch up for, to work with and to kind of enable them to achieve their goals. So we're really excited about that. We've just launched our website rebrand, so we're hoping that will be launched up and ready for the turn of the year. Our product development team are just going into kind of product development phase drive. So again, we're kind of really pushing on the next phase of our platform and how we develop that. We've secured some really exciting grant funding, which is going to allow us to launch our Career Hive, which is a career management platform that we're putting together. And that will enable us to kind of start to engage with some of the schools or colleges and universities that we've got out there, and kind of allow us to, as we said, to start to connect that dot, and how do we kind of bring all those things together. We're going to have new recruits coming on board, so we're really excited about bringing those group on board, and fingers crossed we're going to be launching a fairly sizable seed round in context to where we are. So our next phase of what is our next phase of our investment strategy look like, and what are we looking to bring on board. So I think when you look at where we are right now, it's a really exciting space. We are full on. We've got some really exciting roles, as I said. This MVP customer coming on board, the pipeline of conversations that we're having with diversity of organizations, that's really made us exciting. So I think, you probably asked the question. So, if you look at this kind of model customer MVP that we're looking at, they have a very, very dynamic and robust growth strategy, ambitious in terms of their growth strategy. So they're looking to hire a significant number of hires into the organization over the next 3 years. They've recognized that, as an organization, we're possibly not focus on that early careers phase. We're really looking at that kind of, the latter end of the early career space. Individuals about 2 to 3 years post industry experience, but individuals who are solution driven, who want to work across a wide range of roles that we cover as an organization. And I think that's really exciting, because for us as an organization, we have a huge opportunity, because what we do is, we come in, we look at what you're doing, how you're doing it, what can be done. We're developing our platform in a way that we'll be able to set up the whole kind of attraction campaign. So how are we going to work with you to attract and engage with the cohort and the type of candidates you're looking for the roles you have in place, for the growth strategy you have in place. And then how do we kind of work with you through the platform to basically bring that early careers talent on board? So how do we manage the whole end-to-end hiring piece? So we're really excited with the different pieces, whether it's online, virtual interviewing, whether it's how we're going to use video interviewing to enable organizations to have that kind of consistent process, how we kind of look at our attraction strategy, so we make sure that we're reaching out to the widest talent pool possible. And our platform, as I said to everyone, FutureMatch isn't about coming into your organization and taking over what you're doing. Our job is to bring our platform and our expertise into your organization and enable you to step up to the next game. So for us, some of our clients that we're talking to right now have really robust in-house teams, but what they're saying is, we love your expertise, right? We love the fact that you as an organization, how you build your model enables us to be able to know that we've got the best of class in terms of how we attract that talent pool, how we engage with that talent pool, and most importantly, how do we select that talent pool and bring it through this journey in a seamless way, in a way that encourages that enthusiasm, doesn't let anything wane. Everybody has a positive feel around the brand and who we are as an organization. And most importantly, we get that talent to come on board. They are loyal to us in terms of where we can take them, and they believe that we can develop them. So for us, that's what we are. Think of us as being that kind of that wraparound solution, the glue that kind of joins the two dots together between our experienced hires, ambitious growth, this talent pool that we need to develop and retain and attract. Our platform is basically leading that. So if a company uses us, there's a number of things they're going to achieve, right? They're going to be able to have a really robust, cost-effective, and fairer hiring process of early careers talent. They're going to know that when the talent pool comes to them, they're engaged, they're motivated and enthused to be part and parcel of that particular space, and they're fully aware of what does a career look like in this kind of space. They will know that they're getting a organization that will enable them, and a platform and a solution that will enable them to reduce how long it takes them to bring that talent on board. It reduces how much it costs them per hire to bring that talent on board, and by improving the retention and development rates, you then got that stable workforce. And we're not sitting here saying that, look, you know what, use us and you'll never lose your talent. What we're saying is, if your attrition rate for early careers talent is high, our aim will be to bring that down. And we have a number of ways of how we do this: how we attract the strategy, how we present your brand, how we sell your brand, how we optimize the opportunities to give that particular talent pool as much information as they can, so they can make better informed decisions. And surprise, surprise, you start to see those numbers creep up as a whole. So the core thing is that's how we are. So, and the aim of what we're developing right now is, we believe that there's a lot of options out there that talk a lot about the machine. So it's about how do we use machine learning, how do we use AI, how do we use data, and we're saying actually we want to use all of that, right? But we want to remember one of the most important things are that there is a human connection, right? In everything that we do in hiring, there will always be a human connection. And how do we bring those two things as tight as we can together without creating the biases that come from having too much of a human interaction, but also making sure that we're not leaving everything to machine learning or AI to be the solution driven, right? Let's retain that ourselves. So in essence, that's what we're looking to do. It's what we bring to businesses. So when you think about FutureMatch, think about, you're going to have access to the most amazing quality or base of candidates. You're going to have an attraction strategy that would set you apart from your competitors, that will give you access to the most diverse talent pool, the most talented talent pool, and a talent pool, most importantly, that's relevant for what you want, that's motivated and hungry and fully educated in terms of what working for your organization and sector means. That you've got an organization that is obsessed with talent, early career talent acquisition. Our obsession is this particular space. So we're always looking at how can we take that early careers talent from where it is right now into the most exciting role that it can possibly be part of, and how do we support both of those, engage and retain and kind of develop together as a whole. So that's FutureMatch, right? So I want to reduce the cost. I need to attract a high volume number of talent, or we've got a number of graduate roles. There's a company that we're talking to, they've got about 30 roles and they're really struggling to fill those roles. So they're looking for this kind of model. How do we help them understand not only what they need today, what they're going to need in 12 months time, what they need in 36 months time, and how can we then mold the hiring strategy around what they have as resources, the platform, and what their desired outcomes are going to be. Collaborate, all those type of things, and that is us in a nutshell. So yeah, hopefully you've kind of found this really interesting. As I said, we've got some really exciting things coming on board, and we've got a website launch coming on board. We're doing our go-to-market strategy. We've just closed the seed round. We've got our first MVP customer coming on board, and now we're kind of in that. All right, let's start to test this and whether what we have is something that will fit within the marketplace, right? Because we're trying to be something different here. We're trying to give young people in early career talent access to roles they never thought were possible, but also organizations access to an early career talent that's diverse and rich in so many ways that come into play. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. I really look forward to doing episode 18, which will be online fairly soon. Thank you very, very much, and have a lovely week.